Hello, family, and welcome back to the Explore the Extraordinary podcast. My name's Betty, and today I'm joined by Londell. And Londell is a DJ. He's a near-death experiencer. He's a coach. And I saw his interview. I saw him do an interview on another podcaster who gets into all this cool spiritual stuff. And I thought that he would be a great contribution to our community here at IANDS. And so thank you so much for your service. And I'm going to toss it right over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Betty. I appreciate you. Yeah. So like she said, my name is Londell, spiritual coach, near-death experiencer, and spiritualist. So yeah, my journey has been something else. As far as my near-death experience goes, it was probably about 2016. It was late night, and I ended up being shot in my back. It was strange. I ended up being shot in my back. I was staying with one of my close friends. I was going through a divorce, and it was a late night. Someone decided to creep up beside me and, ask me a few questions and threaten my life with a gun. We wrestled a little bit near my car, and I broke free. I ended up being shot in my back, and moments later, I had a major spiritual experience. It showed me a lot. I got to know God on a whole nother level. I was already delving into, spirituality, occult, learning different things about, different religions and things like that. But it got to that point where I got to really experience it. I guess you could say I manifested true, deep, spiritual meditative experience, because that's exactly what I experienced that night. I guess you could say in the beginning of it all, I went into a deep slumber. After I was waiting for the ambulance, waiting for the ambulance. And, I started seeing a bunch of lights, and it was just, it was like a language being spoke to me. It was a light code being spoke to me. I started to see myself as a reflective blue light, and I started to see a female that I was dating at the time, a purple light. We were very connected. We were very close. And I told myself I didn't want to be there anymore. I was going through a divorce already, and then I had a girlfriend sometime after that. And I just felt torn about love. And that spiritual experience showed me how to open up my heart chakra. And it also taught me detachment. So going through that situation, knowing a lot about projecting and meditation and reflecting in the subconscious mind, for a minute I was kind of lost at what was going on. But after some time, I realized that I was going through what I was going through, and those lights started to speak to me, and I started to have a life review. I started to see a lot of things that I've been through in my life, and I started to realize that life review was happening. I started to see many scenes from my life, and I started to also see myself from a bird's eye view or God's eye view perspective from what I was going through then while I was shot and waiting for the ambulance. So I don't mean to ramble, but it's just so much that was going on at the time. It was like a million words being spoken at one time. So as I'm sitting there waiting for the ambulance, this purple light starts coming in through me, through my third eye. It just kept coming. Like, it's an experience that is hard to put in words. It's hard to put in words, but I'm gonna try my best to do it. It's still hard to do sometimes. So if you want to describe it in a 3D sense, it was like the strongest meditation you could possibly have. And I sat there and I let the spirit speak to me. At first, I was extremely afraid. I was scared. I wasn't sure what was going on. But the spirit started to speak to me. It started to tell me everything about myself, everything about my life, and it started to let me know how to basically right my wrongs and what to do in the new life if I decided to continue to live. If I decided to, not allow myself to, fight through this situation in the position that I was in, I was going to be able to carry on a new life and a new lifestyle once I did come back. And I just began to see so many different scenes. Again, like I said, Spirit began to speak to me. I began to travel in different places, and I was able to speak to different people, and it felt like I just went through a time warp. I'm trying to slow down a little bit. It always takes a little bit for me to, get into that meditative state, to come back into that zone and speak the code that was being spoke to me. Every time I decide to speak on this story, I like to try to filter in new things that I was experiencing. So like I said, I got to really go through dark tunnels. I got to speak different languages and learn different codes of spirit. And by the time I was out of that first meditative state, once the ambulance got there, I could already feel different. I already felt different. So I woke up from the first time I was in my slumber, and they were like, "Hey, come on, get up. Walk over to the stretcher." And I was confused because I was bleeding, and I was bleeding out, and I was leaking blood. And it ended up being one of the best things, because it kind of hurt me that they asked me to get up and walk, and they told me they wouldn't help me, but it made me stronger. It made me stronger in that time. And I don't like to be judgmental or anything like that, but I felt judged at the time. So that was another spiritual experience I was having, feeling judged, and again, detaching and opening my heart chakra. So I got over to the stretcher. They began to ask me questions about the suspect, ask me what was going on. I truly didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know where this person, got off to decide to try to, harm me or rob me. So I got in the stretcher, we got into the ambulance. They start asking me more questions. And, I got back into a deep slumber again, a hard meditative state. This is where I actually, where I was lost, where I lost control, and I was actually gone for maybe, I'm not sure exactly how many minutes, but I was out. And this is where it got really intense. I started to see, I started to really see, different visions of a new life, a new experience. That's where I realized there were dimensions, and that we aren't just here. We are here on Earth, but there are different dimensions here on Earth where there are spirits. You can feel auras and lights and codes and things of that nature right here on Earth. Because a lot of times we think if we can't see it with our eyes, we're not experiencing it. But that's so not true. And my experience, it just taught me a lot in the midst of going through it all. It taught me that, everything, you can't take everything for face value, but if you can, learn to use your intuition, learn to tap into your intuition, you can communicate with people on different levels, and also spirit beings on different levels. There's a way to, utilize doing these things with different spiritual tools, and the intuition is one of them. And we can also, kind of direct our path with spirituality by tapping into our subconscious mind. There's a lot of different people that like to believe that our vision or our imagination is our God and is Jesus Christ. And I kind of understand why they believe that, because our imaginations can really pave our way in this lifetime. So if you don't know about the power of your imagination or the power of your subconscious mind, I'm going to just explain a few things about it. So for me, I'm going to go back a little bit. I was very, very spiritual at the time. I was really studying a lot of occult, a lot of religion, and a lot of techniques about spirituality, breath work, chakras, the whole nine. I began to really study a lot of different things, and I felt like I was feeding my soul. I began to feed my soul. I began to get extremely confident and courageous and feel a lot of strength in my soul. I was already a very, very religious person at the time, but I was moving away from religion. My grandma, she was a very religious person. She was so religious and so, you know, deep into her deeply rooted into her Christianity. Into Christianity, she actually went to Jerusalem and traveled to Jerusalem and brought that back here to the U.S. And you know, she's just always been a soldier in our family when it comes to like spirituality and, you know, religion. But saying that to say, for me to, you know, learn all this other different knowledge, you know, it kind of weighed guilt on me and shame on me. My family kind of turned away from me, and it taught me a lot. That was also a lesson learned through, you know, spirituality and things of that nature. Like I said, detachment, you know, things like shame, guilt. These are things that our spirit should not wear every day. These are things that we battle with sometimes daily, but these are things that our spirit shouldn't wear. We should be free. We should be loving. We should be caring. We should do it in a free nature. But going back again, I was going through a divorce with a female, my ex-wife, and it was very traumatic for me. I shortly ended up getting with another girl, maybe some months later, just, you know, trying to get over the whole thing. But love was an intense thing for me. Love was a very, very powerful prioritized thing in my life. Love and family on my life path 6. Life path 6 is big with family and things of that nature. Mainly family, a family number. But so I told myself after it didn't work out with the girlfriend, you know, I gave up on myself in life. And with all this spiritual power and strength that I was working on, learning all this knowledge, being in a divine essence, I felt like, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm taking accountability, that I manifested that situation and scenario of me being shot in my back, grazed on my neck twice. So I want to just show you something. So I have a scar on my neck here, and I have a scar on my neck in the back from one bullet. From one bullet, 2 grazes on my neck from one bullet. And I say that and make that so profound because the timing of a bullet, as fast as a bullet travels, that's how fast I was able to move in that time, which lets me know there's a divine essence. We like to make representations with movies and, you know, books and things like that when it comes to life and decoding and, you know, whistleblowing things about what's going on here on earth with spirituality. I'm here to tell you, time is it's not real, because there's no way that I should still be here physically with a bullet graze, one bullet, 2 grazes, you know, excuse me. There's no way that should have been possible, but I'm still here today, and I fought through that. And I just want you to know that if you have limited beliefs, if you put yourself in a box, if you put your thoughts in a box, if you put other people in a box, if you're extremely judgmental, you don't use your imagination, and you don't believe in spiritual powers, then I'm sorry to tell you, I'm here to inform you that there's a lot more to life than what you may know and what you may believe. And let me be an example to explain and tell you how you can transform your life and pave a road with using your imagination and your subconscious mind. So again, I know that I manifested that situation. I began to get very comfortable with meditation and paving my road, seeing movies in my mind, me planting seeds in my mind to be able to move and make my next step in life. That's what I was doing initially with my subconscious mind and my imagination. I was taking steps for my next path in my life. And I know that I did that. I know that I manifested that scene. I told myself I was done. I told myself I didn't want to do this anymore. God, take me away. Take me away. That's what I told myself. And sure enough, I was able to manifest I was able to manifest that, just like I was able to manifest other things that I was accomplishing in that time in life, whether it was money, the relationship with the girl, and other things that I felt I was doing that was successful at the time. Please know that you are powerful. To get into this divine essence, to build up your strength and courage and confidence, you need to spend more time alone. You need to learn to build up your spirit. There's different ways that there's a lot of different techniques and ways that you can build your spirit up. But I would suggest, firstly, to spend more time with yourself, to relax yourself, relax your mind, know what it is that you are thinking, learning to breathe, learning breath work and meditation so that you can calculate and slow down your thoughts and control your thoughts and plant seeds to have thoughts come to your mind that are streamlined on a certain foundation, from a certain foundation. So again, it was just a very, very, very profound experience that I can't shake. I think about my experience. I think about that experience daily. There's not a day that I don't think about it. It kind of, I won't say that it haunts me, but it's like a monkey on my back. It's not always a bad monkey, but it's something that's a reminder to tell me, like, hey, remember this life is really this way and not the way that you were living at first. And it's not that I was living bad, but I was living with limited beliefs. And back to my experience, I got to really explore what I felt like was the entire world with those lights coming in. That purple light, it felt like it represented the female that I was with at the time, my girlfriend at the time. Excuse me. She was very important to me at the time. She was like my backbone, and she was initially the person who, essentially, she was the person who brought me back once I felt her touch and her voice in my ear when I was laying in the hospital bed. So as I was making my way to the hospital in the ambulance, this light was just whirling around me, and just speaking to me, just saying a lot of different things. It was like chatter, just saying a lot of things, but all these things resonated with me. All these things resonated with me, and I had to really slow down and remember all the things that I learned at this time, because it went so fast. I felt like I was experiencing something in my body, but I was experiencing something in spirit. And I remembered all of the things that I was learning in that moment. And I finally was able to just tap in and say, hold on, this is, you're experiencing God right now. You're experiencing the spirit realm right now. Calm down and actually allow yourself to learn, to detach, to learn all the universal laws right now that you can. And that's exactly what I did. And that spirit, it began to show me a lot of different things. It's like it took me on a world tour, and a universal tour. I just got to, sharpen my spirit a lot more. It was showing me rights and wrongs of myself and my life, showing me instances of me and how I was interacting with other people at times. And I got to come out of that experience a new person and a new being and a new spirit. It showed me that miracles happen. Miracles are a real thing. It showed me that everything isn't what the eye makes of it. Close your eyes and live a little bit sometimes. Learn to close your eyes and live, because there's a lot of different, there's amazing things that we can do with this time here on earth. I'm grateful for my experience and everything like that. It's at this point in my life, I'm very detached from that experience, and I live on a different frequency, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing to have experienced.
I have a couple of questions. My first question is, how long ago was your experience?
At this point, it was almost 10 years ago. It happened in 2016.
I gotcha. And then
Yeah.
can you talk to me a little bit about the process of spiritually coming out? So once you have an opportunity to kind of digest what's happened and be able to articulate it into words, what happens in your life then? Specifically, the thing that's coming to my mind is you're talking about that your family is very religious, and now you have this spiritual experience that might dispel some aspects of organized religion. So, what is that experience like for you?
So the experience of me dispelling religion with spirituality, right?
Right.
Okay, so yeah, so going through that, I felt really torn. I felt really torn. My relationship with my mother was really on the line at that point, and I had to learn. I had to learn strength. I had to learn spiritual strength, and I had to learn how to basically um, break a curse of judgment and press through my family's judgment upon me, essentially feeling like Jesus Christ when everyone betrayed him, they denied him, they knew his death was coming, and everyone spoke behind his back about it, and that's how I felt. I felt betrayed. I felt, um, you know, I felt disowned, and essentially though it brought me a lot. Like I said, it brought me a lot of strength that all of that judgment, all of that negative energy, I transmuted that energy, and I just became more confident and courageous in my spiritual journey, to the point where it started to make sense over time to my family. And as you can see today, it's more awareness and spirituality and in our community coming, even on like radio shows and stuff like that. Excuse me, not radio shows, radio commercials, and things of that nature. But it's just really profound. I mean, if you want to put it in terms of like subconsciously visualizing what I was going through, I just felt, like I said, I felt extremely torn in that situation, and seeing the same people that was standing over me as them, me and my family at the time, it just felt extremely dark. So, for instance, when I was on my deathbed, a lot of people were speaking over me. I can hear at times, and I can also see at times what was going on, and I felt like I was fighting. I felt like there was a lot of people in there that didn't want me to make it out. So dispelling, religion over spirituality. I felt like I was fighting. I could just feel myself fighting all of the negative feedback, the negative, the people not wanting me to live and make it through. And it's crazy because the girl that I was with at the time, she had told me that, hey, there's a few things that I don't like about your family. She didn't say it like that, but she let me know that there were some things that she had seen and didn't really appreciate. And I was like, I don't know, but I started to see what she was talking about, and for her to be the one that touched me, speak to me, and bring me back here on Earth, it showed me a lot and taught me a lot. So that's one thing that I could say about dispelling spirituality.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's important to share about those things, because I think that a lot of people have fear about coming out with their spiritual experiences for fear
Yeah.
of being disowned, or maybe it's not part of their culture, or in their culture they're told absolutely not, don't ever speak about this. And so I think it's really important for those of us who have had experiences to stand proudly in them. And thank you for sharing about your journey and being so honest and vulnerable about it. So what I heard you say was that you manifested your experience, which, I believe in the power of manifestation. I don't know if that's something that we should encourage people to do, like, hey, manifest your death and then you
Yeah.
can achieve some kind of enlightenment. So despite people having to do something like that, what are some tools? Like, you work as a spiritual coach. What are some tools that you help people to tangibly dismantle some of their old limiting belief systems without
Absolutely.
having to die?
Absolutely. And you know, I've told this story a few times, and that's why I say at this point, you know, I'm more in control of how I even I put a new meaning to that situation. You know, at first I felt very victimized and very, you know, crippled. And I would, you know, tell the story a certain kind of way. But the power in it is like what you want me to explain is knowing that we can control, we have a bit of control when it comes to our lives. We have a bit of control with what can happen to us or what positions we put ourselves in. So saying that to say, I know that I manifested that position. I spoke it, I affirmed it, and I sent it out to the universe confidently in my energy. Hey, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. That was completely wrong of what I really wanted. But being so powerful at the time, I was able to accomplish that subconsciously. But some tools that we can that I truly suggest people to get into is breath work. I feel like breath work is one of the most powerful tools that you can utilize in the beginning stages or even your advanced stages of spirituality, because with breath work, when you're able to breathe properly, you're able to again calculate and dissect your mind and its thoughts. Our thoughts are not ours. Our thoughts are really simply things that are something that we connect with on frequencies. These are suggestions here universally. So knowing that, if you can breathe and be on a certain frequency, decide what frequency you want to be on when you're meditating, when you're doing your breath work, and you decide to seed your mind certain thoughts or certain strategies or processes that you would like to maybe experience, so to speak. Breath work would be one of the major ones. So one of the things that I do is I start off with 5 seconds. I just start off from going in from my nose, 5 seconds in from my nose. A lot of times people just go straight from that and go straight out to the mouth. But there's an even more powerful way you can do it. Go in through the nose, pause, hold it for about 5 seconds as well. Breathe out of the mouth, hold again. Breathe out of the mouth 5 seconds, hold 5 seconds. In through the nose again. This is an extremely powerful way that you can gain traction of your thoughts. If your adrenaline is rushing, going fast, or you're just trying to, or you're waking up and you're just trying to gain that footing and to start your day off. Let me explain this again to you. Breath work will change your life. It will change your entire thought process. It will change your entire connection to spirit in the moment, right in the moment. Another thing is meditation. Meditation and breath work are practically go hand in hand. If you're trying to meditate and you're not breathing correctly, you're gonna miss. You might quantum leap into a state of mind or a state that you don't really appreciate. If you're already in a funk and you go to meditate and you actually find yourself in a subconscious state of mind, hopefully you're breathing correctly so that you're not feeding your mind a bunch of negative thoughts that will later resonate with you, that you will later bring into a 3D experience. So meditation and breath work go hand in hand. Controlling your thoughts in meditation, or feeding, I would like to say, feeding your thoughts, feeding your subconscious mind in meditation will be very, very profound to do while you're doing that. You don't want to just allow certain thoughts to come into your mind. You kind of want to sift thoughts out of your mind. So that is a very powerful tool. Another thing that I like to do, I like to take healing baths, tea baths, spiritual baths with herbs, candles, things of that nature. And these tools right here can really reset your spirit, reset your energy aura, and help you neutralize your state, your spiritual state. So I would suggest that, and also affirming with writing down affirmations alone, that extremely grateful affirmations. I am grateful for my life and my journey. I am grateful for my knowledge and wisdom. I'm grateful for my powerful manifesting energy, things like that, things that are really writing things like that that will really empower you, or learning from more people, and reading things, or just reading all together so that you can articulate more, so that you can use more high vibrational words, and truly resonate with them, so that you can also project more high vibrational actions. But yeah, like I was saying, now the way that I share my story now, I try to do it in a more empowered way, because a lot of stories and a lot of experiences are very ghouly and spooky. But I like to try to take the spookism out of it just a little bit, to help people understand that we are powerful. The same energy that we feel like is attacking us is the energy that we're working with. We believe in God and Satan. In reality, let's put the duality together, because I can be very godly at sometimes, and I can be very satanic at times. If something was to happen right now, someone try to attack me, I might get very violent and vicious to save my life, like what happened that night. I had to fight myself off. So learning God and the devil, putting them together, because these are the things that we're taught that separates us from our true divine energy. Feeling like, oh, there's a God and there's a Satan. And there is energies that are polar opposites, but knowing how to work with the two, you can become the perfect being, and aligned being, one that is able to attract what they truly want to attract in life. So I would learn. I would read. I would also read a lot if I were you. Read a lot of different, books about the chakras, about different. I would even delve into tarot a little bit to be able to understand. I believe tarot is like learning chess. Tarot is like learning chess. If you could learn tarot, but sometimes you don't want to delve too much into tarot, because tarot, if you don't have the strongest subconscious mind at the time, tarot can lead you down a path of a rabbit hole. So I'm very protective as well when it comes to what I may suggest as tools. Everything can lead you down a rabbit hole. You just have to have a really strong mind, But that's what I would suggest as spiritual tools.
I really like that, and I just to dial into your own intuition and to see what you feel called
Yes.
to, and to also, I love the idea of also being cautious, because yeah, you can get real carried away. And I think that's,
Yes.
for me, I love practicing the spiritual principle of open-mindedness as well,
Yes.
because the things that I thought in the beginning of my spiritual journey, they're not the same things that I think today. But you couldn't
Yeah.
have told me 5 years ago that the things that I believed then were wrong.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
not that they're wrong or anything, but just that things can shift and change. And I really like, because that's what I hear you saying. It's just kind of like that the true nature of reality is really fluid, and that we
Mhm.
actually have a lot of control over that. I'm wondering if maybe you could share a little bit more about manifesting. Let's say that somebody's
Absolutely.
in a situation where, like they're impoverished or they're really having a hard time. And how does calling things into your experience work when you're maybe experiencing a different reality? Or let's say somebody's really depressed and they're having a hard time and they're listening to this because they want to know that there's hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So how do you utilize manifesting into a situation like that?
Absolutely. So you kind of spoke on it already. You said open-mindedness. So a lot of times when we get spiritual, we tend to go into hermit mode. We tend to go into a deep isolation. Oh, no one understands me. This world is something else. Oh, like I said, a lot of spookism. We start to feel like we can assume. We start to assume a lot of things. We start to feel like we're tapping into this knowledge and we can be psychic and know everything. But let me explain how you can learn. You can embrace everything around you so that it resonates. So for instance, instead of feeling like everything is against you or everything is separate from you, understand that everything is one. We are also one. Spirituality is delving into your individuality with God, your inner natures, your inner God. However, we are all here having this experience. So again, with open-mindedness, you are able to connect with one another. A lot of times people get spiritual and they don't resonate with a lot of people. And that is where the point of spirituality is kind of down spiraling, because a lot of times we get into spirituality because of traumatic experiences or things that we may have experienced that are very supernatural, and you can't resonate with other people can't resonate with your experience, so you feel isolated. But let me explain how you should embrace that more. The more that you can embrace that polarity is the way that you can actually bring it together. So knowing that someone else is experiencing one thing and that you are experiencing another thing allows you to understand that if you're able to not be, I don't want to say arrogant, if you're able to be more open-minded about what other people are experiencing, even if you feel like they are not as smart as you or intelligent as you, and they may not be able to dissect what it is they're going through more, you need to understand that they're still experiencing that thing, that situation or whatever it is. That is how we are able to embrace one another and actually manifest simpler and more effortlessly. Teamwork makes the dream work. We can manifest alone or we can manifest together. Like in the Bible, it says when two come together, when two comes together, it shall come to pass. So that's what it means. If you're able to actually resonate, say, even if you want something that is something personal, but excuse me, let me just go back. A lot of times we want things and it comes from other people, or whether it's an energy exchange, money, whatever the case may be. If you can understand that the things that you want in life, even personally, like space and peace, you're able to manifest it more effortlessly by approaching it in a more communal way or a more fellowship type way. Even if you have family that you don't really spend a lot of time with, but they still maybe call you or they still drop by the house here and there. If you're able to be the first one to pick up the phone, say, hey, how are you? Okay, yeah, just checking on you today. And hang up the phone. Now you have you've manifested peace. You probably won't hear from them the rest of the day, or friends that you don't want to speak to for the rest of the day, because you want time alone, whatever the case may be. But it's the simplest instances that we just disconnect from that makes manifesting harder. I know this sounds so simple, but if you catch what I'm saying, you understand that it can be very, very simple to manifest. We detach a lot of times from the actual essence thereof that brings the manifestation. Other people, other thought forms, other the polarity of what it is that the energy that you are actually embracing, opposite of what it is that you want. Again, God and the devil, bringing the two together. So if a person is opposing a mind frame, or excuse me, a thought process that you have, hey, let's build this car, or let's build this wall, and you have a thought process about it and they have a thought process about it, but you're hardcore on yours. Well, the wall may not ever get built. You get what I'm saying? The wall may never get built because you're not able to put your two brains together and just actually get going and get it built up. I know this, like I said, I know this sounds extremely simple, but I'm gonna give them another example. So, for instance, let's say attracting love in your life. A lot of times people we feel what you have to be what it is that you attract. You have to be what it is that you want to attract, and that's very true. You have to be what you want to attract, and a lot of times we have to we have to embrace the opposite so that we can attract it. So for instance, you stay in this big loving energy. You stay in this loving energy, you're trying to attract what it is that you want, but you never think about the opposite. You never think about the opposite things because you don't want to attract it. But you may actually need to think about those things that you do not want in a partner so that you can actually attract it in 3D, because in 3D we come from our mothers, and I talk about this quite a bit sometimes. Negative energy is very powerful. We actually ground with negative energy. And you may not understand, some may not understand what I'm saying. Positive energy is the ascension. Negative energy is the descension, or the groundation of what it is that we're trying to bring in. So if you're able to actually embrace the negatives and the positives together, you're able to manifest faster. Because a lot of times what we're doing, we're just repelling the manifestation. We're just repelling it because we're just pushing it further. We're pushing it further. I'm feeling how I'm feeling. I'm thinking how I'm thinking, and my mind frame is set on what I want. But I never think about the polarity of it, so it never comes my way. You get what I'm saying? So that would be one tool one way I would think about it. It's very simple, and I hope that I explained it to where it can be digested. But just allowing yourself to have spiritual protection when you do go decide to manifest your polarity, if I can say it in those terms. Manifesting the polarity, or embracing the polarity of what it is that you truly want, will actually bring in the manifestation a lot more. You have to play with both energies. You have to use both.
Yeah, that's really helpful, actually. You just kind of opened up a little door in my own mind, and I'm really into manifesting. So I appreciate hearing this point of view. And
Yes.
I'm gonna practice it, and I'll let you know when it works.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I really enjoyed our time together today. Thank you so much for your service to our community. I just want to see
Absolutely.
if there's anything else that you feel called to share to feel more complete about our time together.
Um, I would just really say, if you're a hardcore spiritualist, or you get into spirituality, or maybe you've just been here for a while, and you tend to drift off, and things aren't as easy as they once were, because we get really empowered in the beginning sometimes, or we go through the dark night of the soul. Whatever level of spirituality you're on, just know that this experience is the experience. This is it. This is it. So you don't have to look outside of yourself for answers. We get lost a lot of times in this journey because we're being challenged and we're learning. So just remember, this is the experience. When it gets tough, it's supposed to be tough sometimes. It doesn't always have to be easy. That is part of the experience. When the going gets tough, that's what's supposed to happen. And check with yourself, and remember to hold accountability to your power. We always want to take credit for the good part of our manifestations, but we don't want to take accountability to be credited. You have to take accountability for the bad stuff. We don't like to take accountability. So that negative funk that we're in a lot of times, and the duration of that funk is up to us sometimes as well, because again, you have to take accountability to be able to be credited with the energy that you want. So if that helps anybody, I hope that helps, someone. Accountability.
It's awesome. Thanks so much. And all of your information will be in the liner notes of this episode. So if people want to connect with you, they have a way to. And again, thank you for your service to our community. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Peace.